Alright, I really hope the NFL comes in and brings the hammer down, or maybe even does an investigation, because this Thanksgiving weekend was already marred with bad calls, and I was just trying not to talk about it. The biggest one, of course, in my opinion, was that in the Bears-Eagles game, they didn't roll Jalen Hurts down by forward progress here, which completely overrides an embarrassing Giants call earlier this year when they did the exact same thing, but the play was apparently blown dead way after it should have been. But I think what you're about to see is even worse than that. In fact, I think it's one of the worst sequence of calls this entire year, as we're on a Texans-Colts game, and it has been an absolute doozy. But we're in the fourth, and the Texans are driving, but it appears that that drive is coming to an end as they're taking a snap on 3rd and 15 when Part 1 of this horrendous call is going to happen. The play clock winds all the way down to 0 and is at 0 for a full second before the ball gets snapped, which is way too long. But that shouldn't matter as Stroud steps back, fires a dart into the ground as his wide receiver is tripping over himself to take them to 4th down. So missing that delay of game should be no big deal, but wait. The refs could not let this play not be messed up worse than it is. They're going to double down and call a pass interference, which with everything so bang bang, maybe you didn't see it, so let's take a second look at it. Oh my god. He barely touches this guy's arm before the wide receiver trips on his own volition. I don't know if I've ever seen a looser pass interference call in my life, and of course, the Texans turned that into a score, and turned that score into a ball game. There was also the little extra point being extremely too close to not going in, and I'm just going to assume it was a camera trick that made it look bad, but man, even that needed a replay as everybody in the booth suddenly lost all faith in the officiating crew on that field. But missing the obvious delay of game call that would have made this a 3rd and 20 just to turn around and call maybe one of the most invisible pass interferences you've ever seen has to be one of the worst calls this entire year, which is saying something because there have been some bad ones, and it's only made worse by the fact that this turned out to be the difference in the game. What a just terrible sequence.
Arm is not enough at all to be called. That is barely hand fighting at best.